Welcome to Brewsers, podcast about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. I'm your host, Rody John, and today we speak to Barry Anderson with Brute Seltzer. We talk about being the first fitness seltzer, figuring out how to add protein, and so much more. I love this conversation, and you're going to love it too. Brute Seltzer is absolutely amazing. You will not be able to find it everywhere, but you can for sure get it on Amazon, and you can obviously where Barry tells you to find it. Also, this is such a great seltzer. It's good energy, clean energy, and it's got just the stuff you need before a great workout, or even afterwards if you want a little bit of extra energy afterwards because you tired yourself out. And as of recording time, they did not have the protein out, but it is out this year. Definitely make sure to check out Brute Seltzer. But you don't want to find out from me, you want to find out from him. Without further ado, here is Barry Anderson with Brute Seltzer. I would like to welcome to the show Barry Anderson with Brute Seltzer. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. Now, for those listening, kind of paint us a word picture. Where are you at? What's going on around you? All the things.
Where we're at right now is we're at our 6th month of being in business. We launched back in May of 2023. This is again Brute Seltzer. We're doing all right so far. Everything's going pretty well. It took about 3 years to build this product, and we got our launch ready in the beginning of the year, and then launched in May. So everything's going well.
Wow, that's so awesome. So 3 years of planning, and then now 6 months into actual being in the business. I guess take us back, 3 years now. What was the initial idea? And we'll go into exactly what Brute Seltzer is for those that don't know, but where did the initial idea for Brute Seltzer come from?
It came about from, I think, 2 different interests coming together and being fueled by innovation. I worked at GNT as a day job to pay for my my college education, which I ended up not pursuing, but while I was studying software programming, I needed a second day job, so I was bar backing at night and working at GNT during the day. Long story short, I ended up working at GNT for a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years total. So I had a lot of first-hand experience with seeing products being marketed, like the protein powders, the C4 energy drinks, Bucked Up, and something about a canned RTD beverage and owning that type of company was appealing to me. I think it has an interesting appeal. I just really like the idea of the Red Bull, Monster Energy sort of CEO type thing. So at the surface area, that piqued my interest. I was like, wow, how cool are those guys?
Right.
But then throw a couple more years of thinking behind that, I started, realizing that there's never been a carbonated water that can support muscle growth. So it started off with wanting to, maybe own an RTD company because it looked cool and sounded cool. And then I actually realized that there's a huge gap in the market and I could possibly fill that space. So once I realized that, I started building the product. It took 3 years. This was back in 2019, or 2020 rather, right when COVID started. And then 3 years later, still nobody's created the protein seltzer. And that's what we're doing here with Brute Seltzer.
Very nice. Now, it's amazing what we've seen, obviously, with what Logan Paul and KSI have done with their energy drink and obviously the hydration one as well. We've seen what's happening with the Alani and her protein drinks as well, or not protein drinks, but she has protein drinks, but she also has the energy drink as well. So that market is just so, it's so ripe for the picking, and it is amazing that no one's really created a seltzer energy drink. Why would you not think to just put those two together? Because then you look at what Liquid Death has done, and Liquid Death has absolutely made drinking water cool again. And so, you could be at a concert, you could be at a sporting event, and you have this really cool can, and people are like, oh man, what is that? Oh, it's water? That's nuts. And so now you can
especially, when you're going to the gym, I see so many people that have just regular energy drinks while they're working out. And I'm like, you need to drink water too. Like, I'm not telling them this, but I'm thinking this in my head. But now you can literally do both at the same time.
Right. And it's kind of, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Why not do two birds, one stone, same product, and not have to pay any more to make a separate product? I don't know. I don't know what's preventing people from crossing that boundary before, but
obviously it's a good thing because otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, it still boggles my mind. No matter how much I think about it, I don't know how it's never happened. But yeah, what Liquid Death did was insane. They did the impossible, and I think they're a huge inspiration to every RTD company or aspiring RTD entrepreneur in the world. Liquid Death is they did a great job.
Yeah, like they have the coolest marketing, like the cans look so awesome. They, the displays that are in the market, like who would have ever thought a display of water would have been cool, but they did it. Like,
they did it, and there's no age limit to who can consume it. Every other product that looks cool and edgy, you can't drink it if you're under 18. You're not supposed to, obviously, because of caffeine. But they have no limit. You could be 92. You could be drinking it before you go to sleep, or you can drink it when you wake up. You don't have to be 18 or older. There's no limit to consumption for them, and that's amazing. They did a great job.
Yeah, they truly did. And I mean, you're
Go for it.
Go ahead. No, go for
it. I think they've been around for 4 years now, give or take, and they went from 0 product ever being produced, like when they ran their ad. They ran an ad as a joke, and it would feature this product called Liquid Death, and everybody loved it. It went viral, so then they had to actually create the product. But in 4 years, they went from having no product to having a company worth $700 million. So that's another outstanding feat by them. 4 years, $700 million estimation.
I did not realize that's how much that company has grown. That's insane.
Yeah, it's bonkers. But again, they're a huge inspiration because of that.
Yeah. Well, let's fast forward to, for those that don't know, explain to everyone what Brute Seltzer really is.
Brute Seltzer is a seltzer water that supports muscle growth. Right now, we're on the first run of our product. It has 5 grams of branched chain amino acids, which you can find in 20 grams of protein. We have electrolytes that will support your hydration. We have a few B vitamins in there, B6, B12, and B5, and organic caffeine to give you a little kick. And then we have 50 milligrams of L-theanine in Brute Seltzer to help kind of counteract what some people experience from caffeine, which is jitteriness and lack of focus. L-theanine is great for reducing nervous system activity. It's usually used in the supplement world, it's usually used for anxiety and inability to focus. So, and essentially, it's a refreshing way to support muscle growth. Our next batch that we're producing has 10 grams of protein in it, so it will be the first protein seltzer in the world. We just finalized that formula 3 weeks ago.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
I had heard an interview, I guess you guys did back in May, and you guys were working on that, but I think there was some patent issues that you guys were working through, and so now that I guess you guys worked through those, you guys are actually going to have that coming out.
Yeah, I have a bottle in my fridge right next to me, but I have to just take it to a co-packer and make the full batch that's ready to hit the market. So they have to be in cans, and you have to do the can wrap and all that stuff. But we finished the formula, and we overcame the challenges, which were just solubility issues. We found the type of collagen protein that mixes very well with carbonated water. So I assume that's why nobody's ever attempted it before, is because people think protein, they think whey protein. And whey protein has a lot of issues when it comes to settling and solubility, especially in carbonation. So I think that's where everybody hits a road bump and then they give up. But this collagen protein is working very well, and it's palatable. It tastes better than what we have now, in my opinion. So the product's improved, and now it has 10 grams of protein in it. So it is the official first protein seltzer in the world.
Just so many firsts.
Yeah.
Like, I guess being the first for, two things now, is it one of those situations where you are able to fully like embrace like how great you guys have done, and like, you hit that goalpost and now you have to move the goalpost? Are you able to take it in and celebrate it, or is it one of those things where you acknowledge it and then move on?
I still feel like I'm drafting up the ideas that I was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely hasn't hit it set in yet. I think I'm just, over the past 3 years of building this, I've realized that there's always another obstacle around the corner. So I'm just, now that we've solved this one, I know there's going to be another one, and I'm ready for that. And it's kind of like if you're in the octagon and you're fighting, as soon as you let down your stance, something's going to come your way. So I just I'm just in that prepared state to keep working. Just very focused, and eager to keep applying the pressure on growing the company.
That's awesome.
So, the champagne bottles haven't popped yet. Not yet.
Well, good. I mean, it's obviously, a good thing that you were still able to, acknowledge the achievements, but then still focus, that you're still tunnel focused on what you need to accomplish and what needs to happen next.
Yeah, I try to avoid premature gratification because I know there's so much more to learn. And I don't want to set myself back any further by getting distracted with celebration. There's so much to learn about branding and marketing, even the production process too. I got a lot to learn to help this product reach where I think it needs to reach. So, just try to stay in the zone. It's easier that way, in my opinion, for me at least.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of touched on it. Also, I love that term, premature congratulations. That's or premature gratitude. What was it?
Premature gratification, I think.
That's fantastic. I like that so much. Now, you did just touch on it. The whole when you're starting a brand, and you're starting a product, you have to figure out how are we going to package it, what's it's going to be called, what's the logo going to be. How did all that kind of come together? Where did you land on? How did you land on Brute? How did you land on the Viking helmet for your can? And also, I guess from can wise, how did you kind of figure out what size can, what the wrap was, how much wrap you're going to have? I guess kind of walk us through all that.
When it comes to that process, it started for me at GNC behind the counter as a cashier, and having maybe an obsession with the RTDs, and then really being passionate about carbonated water for some reason, like Topo Chico and LaCroix and Bubbly. This was back in 2019. I was fixated on seltzer because I knew it was popular, and it was popular. I didn't think dollar signs when I thought it was popular, but I thought of my own interest that it was really cool and I really liked it. Seltzer water was just cool to me. And I realized how much cooler it would be if it could replace your protein shake. If you had a Topo Chico that had protein in it, how sick would that be? So that's where it started. And then I started with the name. Seltzer is the second part of the name. If you're looking at the name linearly, that's the second half. So I had to come up with the first half, which could represent muscle. And Brute is what I ended up coming up with. And then I had to find the logo. I was literally scouring. I think I was typing in Viking helmets on Google image searches, and I found one that I liked. I redrew it, and then I trademarked it. But thinking of the name Brute, I just wanted to think of something that could represent muscle when people say the word, because you want to make a seltzer for muscle. So Brute does that trick, I believe. It helps you imagine muscle. So then the helmet, and then the trademark, and now you have the logo and you have the name. The can, it kind of happened like 2.5 years later when we were ready to go to the co-packer. I did come up with a